How's it going? How is it going? Yeah, YouTube is super spooky. They'll even flag you for keywords. Like if you use keywords in your stream, it'll know, it'll flag you. There's a lot of podcasts and things that I follow, and I know that those podcasts have been demonetized. Like that particular video was demonetized because they use certain words, which is really, really crazy. Absolutely crazy. But YouTube is the powerhouse. YouTube, they set the rules. I know, isn't that kind of crazy? But yeah, what a trap, huh? What a trap. Trying to get me kicked off of YouTube, aren't you? There's the C word that ends with virus. There's been reports when people have used that word, it's gotten them demonetized. Things like that. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I don't necessarily worry about it, but I don't know. I find that like super interesting that YouTube is flagging things like that. Um, there's been, there's been videos where like I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience sometimes, and boom, they talk about politics. Bam, demonetized. Just because they talked about politics. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Other than that, how are we doing? What is this, Tuesday? It's like, I don't even remember the days of the week anymore. It's like all blurs and blends together. It is a Tuesday. Good to hear that you're doing well, Bob. That makes sense because I was watching this comedic video and every time he said that word, he bleeped it out. Yeah, that's why he bleeped it out, because the YouTube algorithm will automatically demonetize it. And it's not something that you can fight. Like, you can't fix it per se. It's just automatically does that. I need to listen to the H3 podcast. Uh, the last thing you ever. The last thing you told me that I should listen to was Tiger King, and that was just a boatload of insanity, Kareem. I don't know if I should trust you. It was a boatload of insanity. It was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know if I should trust you. It was good. Good is such a relative term in that sense. Like, what do you mean by good? Because having a psychopath who thinks the world revolves around him, inhumanely treat tigers terribly, euthanize baby tigers when they're no longer have their uses, and baby lions and baby cats and stuff like that. Like, that's not good. That's not good at all. Like, my heart mourns that entire process and what's going on there. It's insanity. It is absolutely, absolute insanity. Absolutely crazy. I just couldn't believe it. I Part of me was even kind of like, this has to be fake. Like, this has to be fake. New episode this week. Oh man. Uh no. Ugh. I couldn't I couldn't do that show. I did watch it to the very end though, and good thing he's locked up. But it's one of those things where it's just like, it's absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. These people, like, you see that and you're like, wow, these people actually exist. Holy cow. People like this exist out there. It just makes you even more skeptic. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know if you're that guy. I don't know. I don't know. But it's good that you guys are doing well. Are you guys still getting all your work done? I mean, I guess the people that are viewing this live stream are probably the only ones that are actually getting their work done, right? Probably everyone else is just doing their own thing. I'm just looking at Discord and I notice some people are just playing games. It's super funny. Super funny. But I'm glad that you guys are doing well. I'm glad that you guys are getting your work done. It's going to pay off dividends in the future. Trust me, it's going to pay off dividends in the future. You guys are going to move on to that next class better prepared, ready to go. Those other students, because there's no guarantee that the next class you go to that the teacher's going to say, oh, because of what happened last year, we're going to spend all this time reviewing. I mean, to put that into perspective, for for this integrated 3 class, remember how bumpy and kind of like rough it was in the beginning? And I don't know if we have all that time to do review. Like, we just kind of had to we had like a good week or two, and then we just had to move forward. The work might become mandatory. I don't know. I mean, there's discussions on how we could lay that out and how that's going to happen. The key thing here is that a lot of students are looking at the fact that it doesn't negatively impact you in terms of your letter grade, that was the key factor in motivation to do things. So literally what's going to happen is, because the school district doesn't have this mandate in which students are required to get work done and do things, well, what's going to happen for next year? All those kids that are going to have to take state testing, missing 3 to 4 months of important curriculum, whether it's English, whether it's math. And let's not even just talk about what we didn't learn. Let's talk about the fact that we're not even practicing the math. So some of the kids that have checked out already and they're like, I'm done, I'm free, yay. If that's April, we have April, May, June, July, August. So that's about 5 months of not doing anything. That's huge, especially in math. Like, math is impacted by that massive summer gap, that 10 weeks. Math is impacted probably one of the most out of all the other classes. Maybe some sciences, but math for sure is impacted by that, because what you do the previous year, you have to know for the next year. So the fact that kids are just not doing anything is just really, really, really going to negatively impact what's going on. So the fact that all of you guys are here to work on this and to keep going and to keep pushing yourself and to do better, it's very smart. You guys are very smart, and you guys should be proud of yourself. You guys are applying yourself in the correct direction, and yeah, you guys are doing well, and you should keep it up. Like, I know it's going to get rougher and rougher and rougher being isolated, but just keep it up, keep persevering, and keep giving it your all. I kind of wish all teachers did this, and like we had a schedule. Yeah, that's so here's the flip end, right? I think that this whole flipped learning, I already did that for all of my classroom. So even though it is different, it's kind of not different. Like, the reality is, we haven't really done much anything that's different. We're still going over the DIs and the work. You still have to watch lessons on your own. You guys still engage everything on the YouTube channel, and Math is Easy. Instead of me checking work in class, now you submit it to Google Classroom. I mean, the reality is, this is all basically the same. Like, maybe it's 90% the same, 91% the same. I don't know. Whatever we want to calculate it, the majority of what we're doing is the same, which made that transition super smooth. Now, there's a lot of teachers who think this whole flipped classroom business that I did is a bunch of nonsense and don't necessarily see the value in it. And it's not like I'm like doomsday prepping for what we're doing, but it's just the level of learning and how we're able to engage, and engaging the remembering, forgetting, mixed review, being available to help in class. All of those different things are awesome and necessary. Some teachers don't think that those are the essential features of a classroom that they need for success, which maybe their class is different, maybe it's set up different, maybe what they're doing is different. All of those things could affect those factors. But some of these teachers don't have the setup or the infrastructure that I do. Like literally, this zone is like home station. This is like the battle station right here. Literally, I have 3 monitors going on. One of them is a massive 27-inch monitor that I can write on. High. Like, I'm literally writing that with a pen, right? So, it's like, I'm set up for this. I had a webcam already. I have a nice quality microphone. I have a stable internet connection, and I value all those different things. There are some other teachers that don't have those things. And some teachers just have like a cell phone. And I've spoken to some of those teachers, and I've been trying to help them and coach them along and how to kind of do all that. But in terms of resources, some people just don't have the resources that I do, and so that's why I'm able to do a little bit more. Now, I will say, sorry about that. I will say though that this is a lot of work. It's if I were to do something like this every single year, where everything is online, this first year would be super duper busy, and then the rest of the years, it would be less and less work. It'd be more maintenance and things like that. But right now, it's like I'm recreating lots of maintenance, follow up, all that different stuff, and it's, I'm starting at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working almost till 5 o'clock. So usually I'm done at 2:30, and I'm done. But it's been a lot of work. It's a lot of work doing this. So I'm happy to be able to do it. I think it's fun. I think this is awesome that we're able to almost replicate what we're doing in class. But it's a lot of work, and this is a big transition for teachers as well. So, having a little bit of grace for them is going to be helpful. Now there's some assignments out there that are just kind of like, what? Why do I have to do this? But, in general, I would say that teachers are doing their best to be able to provide the best outcome for what's going on. So, all right. Well, that's been a lot of chat. We could chat afterwards. Let's, are you going to put our tests in? So there's a huge problem with that. And the huge problem is for that chapter 9 test, I never collected it back, right? Don't you guys still have the test corrections? Yeah. See? So because you still have those test corrections, there's like, you guys do. Like, I haven't collected it. I was supposed to collect them that Monday, when we, like, that following Monday, but then we left for school on that Friday. And so the only problem is there's no, well, I'm glad you did well on it, Mokeen. But the just give us the curve. I don't have the scores, and I don't have, because there are students that have decided that whatever's going on right now is just a massive break. They're ignoring my ability to reach out, if that makes any sense. So I'm reaching out to said students, and I've called, emailed, even through Discord, and they're ignoring it. So because of the fact that they are ignoring it, like, I can't, the circumstance justifies enough ambiguity to where I cannot hold the students accountable for turning in that test, because I can't reach out to them. Normally they'd show up to school. You can't avoid that, because I just say, hey, turn in your test. But in this circumstance, it's unavoidable. Like, I can't hold a student accountable to be able to do that. And there's a trillion reasons that they can come up with to avoid it. I don't have a camera. How do I verify that? I understand every single smartphone has a camera, but we'll see what's going on. The lazy people saved my grade. You're funny. I am so I'm going to drop a hint out there right now. It's nothing's official yet. I'm hoping to be able to make the announcement by the end of this week. But all I'm going to hint right now is complete all of Alex. If you can complete all of Alex, I'm telling you, you're going to be a very, very, very happy kid. Okay? That's the hint. And I'm saying like 95% complete. And I know some of you guys have decided I'm not going to do any Alex at all. And you're still at a lower percent, whatever, 40, 50%. You're at home all day. It's April. We're through this 2 more months. I'm telling you, complete Alex. I can't say what that's going to do for you yet because I still need feedback from the district and stuff. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a very good thing. 95%. Not 100. 95% is enough in my opinion. If you're already at 100%, yay, that's great. But for right now, if you can get up to 95% on Alex, it's only going to mean good things for you. So even though I'm not officially, like there's no official assignment yet on it, just know like I should be able to make this announcement later the week. It's only going to be a good thing. It's only going to be a good thing. So please, 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 please work on it. I know you're thinking, oh, no, trust me. Trust me. It's going to be a good thing. Yeah, it's going to do all the knowledge checks and it's going to do all that stuff. Sorry. It's like I'm not given any assignments, but you're still just working through the pie chart. Right? You want to make sure that that pie chart says 95%. Yeah, it just automatically does it. Just don't leave Alex sitting there. Don't log in and leave it sitting there for 3 hours, right? Because it does a knowledge check every like 40 objectives or every 3 hours worth of work. It's something like that. Maybe it's 4 hours. But if you just leave it sitting there, you're going to get a knowledge check. And a lot of students do that for some reason. So every 4 hours. Okay. So yeah, so if you're working on it for 4 hours, it's going to give you a knowledge check. So don't only work on Alex when you're actually working on Alex. Don't open it up and be like, oh, I'm distracted, doing all these other things. Because then you're going to have to do all these other things and it's not going to be very good. Okay, let's get to the lesson. Let's talk about this. So last night's lesson, we talked about summation notation. And we know it's summation notation based upon that cool looking symbol. It is the capital letter sigma. It is a Greek letter. And that tells us in math that we are going to add all the terms together. And it's going to give us our starting term. So this is the starting term. And this is the ending term. So technically, what this is saying, this summation is saying a of 4 plus a of 5 plus a of 6 plus a of 7 plus a of 8 and then a of 9. That's essentially what that statement is saying. It's just saying add them up. So to add them up, well, we have to actually find the values first. So we plug in 4 into here. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3, we get 23. Plug in 5. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3 is 28. And then we just keep adding them up. 6, we get 33. 7, we get 38. 8, we get 43. And plugging in 9, you get 48. So it's asking us to add all of those up. And so we can use a calculator to do that. Why not? Makes it easy on us. So we have 23 plus 28 plus 33 plus 38 plus 43 plus 48. And so that's going to give us 213. And so that is going to be our answer. So the summation of 5g plus 3 from 4 to 9 is 213. Any comments or questions on that one? Okay, let's try number 2. So number 2 is the summation from k equals 3 to 8. And so that basically means I need, starting with 3, I plug them in. So that's going to be, I'll just do 1 over k equals. So we're going to get 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 5 plus 1 over 6 plus 1 over 7 plus 1 over 8. So that's the sum there. How do we combine these together? That is a great question. We could spend time actually combining those, finding the common denominator between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then multiplying what that is to everything. I think that's going to be super duper tedious. So we could just use a calculator and just add them all up and just plug that into our calculator. That's another way for us to be able to do that. So plugging those in, pull up my calculator. I feel like I have something in my eye. So in our calculator, we have 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/5 plus 1/6 plus 1/7 plus 1/8. And so that gives us a decimal approximation of 1.218. And then in your case, you said 341 over 280. Yep, there we go. So both of those are workable and acceptable answers. Questions on that? Number 7, I will get to number 7. All right, number 4. So the summation of k equals 0 to 2 of 3k minus 5 times x to the k. So that means we're going to have where k is 0 plus where k is 1, 3 times 1 minus 5 times x to the first, and when k is 2. So simplifying each of these, 3 times 0 is 0, times -5, -5 times x to the 0, that's 1. So you get -5. This is 3. 3 minus 5 is -2. -2 times x. 6 minus 5 is 1. So you get 1 times x squared. So your answer, if I wanted to write that in descending order, is that. Comments or questions on that one? Okay. Let's look at number 6. So number 6, summation is n equals 1 to 5 of n plus 1 factorial over n factorial. Now just remember the factorial. If I said 5 factorial, that's the same as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So you start with that number and you multiply all the way down. So where it says n equals 1 factorial, so that's going to be 1 plus, sorry, where n equals 1. So you get 1 plus 1 factorial over 1 factorial plus, and then you get, so we're plugging in 2, so 2 plus 1 factorial over 2 factorial plus 3 plus 1 factorial over 3 factorial plus 4 plus 1 factorial over 4 factorial plus, and I'm running out of room, 5 plus 1 factorial over 5 factorial. So Bob, your question is, why doesn't 3 factorial, let's just say if I have 6 factorial over 3 factorial, are you saying why doesn't that turn into 2 factorial? Is that what you're asking? Why don't they cancel out that way? So the reason is because of what a factorial represents. That 6 factorial, that's 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then my 3 factorial would just be 3 times 2 times 1. So it's actually only those factors that end up canceling out. That's why we can't reduce them that way. Because what the factors represent don't cancel out appropriately. So that's why I can't just sit here and cancel them out. So this would be 2 factorial over 1 factorial, which is 2 over 1. Plus, this one is 3 factorial over 2 factorial. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. So that's 6 over 2. 4 factorial over 3 factorial. So that'll be 24 over 6. This is 5 factorial over 4 factorial. So 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, I'm going to run out of room here because it's going to cut into my board, but ... you just continue that and you simplify it, and you're going to have to use your calculator for that. Comments or questions on that one? Did that answer your question, Bob? Or do you still kind of are a little confused on that? Okay. Yeah, our inclination is to be able to sit there and just cancel out the factorials like that. But just remember, we're not allowed to do that. Because what the factorial means is the factors of it, and we just have to simplify that. That was a close one. I was like, oh no, sneeze is coming. Didn't want to blast your ears off. All right, number 7. So number 7, we have 8 plus 11 plus 14 plus 17 plus 20. So if I can take this and compact that into a sequence, then I could write it technically however I want. Well, this is the arithmetic sequence because we're adding 3 every single time. So the formula for the arithmetic sequence is a sub n plus n minus 1, a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times my difference. So it's going to be my first term plus n minus 1 times the difference is 3. So now because these are pluses, that means I have to use my summation notation. And so my summation notation would be from n equals 1 all the way to, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be from n equals 1 to 5. Now you can clean this up. I could distribute that 3 through if I wanted to. And so that would just be 8 plus 3n minus 3, which is the same as 3n plus 5. So I could write it as 3n plus 5 if I wanted to, but it is perfectly okay to write it like that and leave it like that. So this right here, that's my answer. So just for number 7, you just had to recognize, oh, that's the arithmetic sequence. I just need to write it as an arithmetic sequence. Comments or questions on that one? Okay. Let's move on to number 8. I want to see if this works. Bam. Yeah. So for this one, I just need to graph these two equations. So the first one is y is less than or equal to 2x plus 4. So that's a line. It starts at 4, and then the slope is up 2 over 1. Solid line because it says equal to. And so I can sketch and draw that solid line. Now to test where we shade, is it going to be shaded on this side or this side? To test that, we plug in a point and see if it's true or false. So for example, if I plug in 0, 0, I get 0 is less than or equal to 2 times 0 plus 4. Is that true or false? The answer is true for is larger than the 0, because it's saying is this larger. So this is true. So what we're going to do is we're going to shade the side that's true. Now we have to do that same thing for the other equation. So the other one is y, there we go, is less than or equal to negative 2x minus 5. So graphing that, it starts at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes down 2 over 1. And so now, I don't have a ruler here, so that makes it more difficult. So now, all I need to do is just test a point again. So if I try 0, 0 again to see if that's true or false. So the question is it going to be on, I don't like that, 1 bit, undo, undo, no. There we go. So the question is it going to be on this side of the line, or is it going to be on this side of the line? So I guess the top right half or the bottom left half. And so if I plug in 0, 0, I can determine that again. So I get 0 is less than or equal to negative 5. That's false. So that means that this side of that line is false, which means this side of that line is true. So we're going to shade that. Now the region in which the shaded regions intersect or overlap, that's your solution. So this part right here, we would darken that in the most, because that is our answer. I think I shaded it enough in. Comments or questions on that one? Okay, let's look at number 10. So f of x equals 2 to the x plus 1. So to find the inverse, we switch the x and y. To get rid of that base 2, we're going to take log base 2 to both sides. So those are going to cancel out. So you get log base 2 of x equaling y plus 1 minus 1 to both sides. Log base 2 of x minus 1 equals y. So that's my inverse. On number 11, you would have to take base 3. So if I did the inverse, I would get x equals log base 3 of y plus 1. You would have to take base 3 to both sides. So you get 3 to the x equals y plus 1. And then minus 1 on both sides. And so we get that. Comments or questions on the inverse? Cool. Can I do number 5? All right, so number 5, the summation of I equaling 1 to 4 of 1/4 I squared, not R, I squared plus 1. So plugging in 1, you get 1/4 times 1 squared plus 1. Plugging in 2, you get 1/4 times 2 squared plus 1. Plugging in 3, you get 1/4 times 3 squared plus 1. Plugging in 4, you get 1/4 times 4 squared plus 1. And now we just need to simplify that. So this is 2, so you're going to get 2 over 4. This is 5. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5, so you're going to get 5 over 4. That's 10. And that's 17. So you just add those together. So 17 plus 17, you get 34 over 4, which is the same as 17 over 2. If I added that up, right? 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 10. Yeah, that looks good. Did that make better sense, Isabella? Right? Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Perfect. Awesome, guys. Well, just keep checking back at the slides. I should have next week updated very shortly, probably by Thursday. I'm going to have that announcement for Alex, hopefully by the end of this week. Like I said, I'm just waiting for admin to give me the okay on it, but it's a good thing. So just start working on it right now. Trust me, it's a good thing. Get it completed, get it up to that percentage. That's what we want it. And then I will start talking about how we're going to do fine. Just trust me, Bob. Trust me. And then we'll start talking about chapter 10 review. We'll probably take an online test. And we'll figure out how that's going to work. And I'll kind of show you guys a little bit on that. But we'll be taking an online test for chapter 10. Other than that, I think we are good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for participating. And thank you for working so hard. I really appreciate all of you guys. Really miss you guys. Tests can only help. You got that right. Tests can only help. So, if you guys do have any questions, you guys are all welcome. If you guys have any questions, please just let me know in Discord. More than happy to help you guys. Other than that, have a good day. Continue being safe. Continue being healthy. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.